Good afternoon, fans. This is your girl from Mel's Mat Chat, and this is episode 277 of the podcast. How was everybody doing today? Um, Side note, this is being taped at 9 o'clock on a Thursday evening, so that means I get to sleep tomorrow. So I'm hoping everybody's having a great week. I am having a better week than I was 24 hours ago. Um, I am going to be seeing my son this weekend, and I can't wait to see him. I miss him terribly, and I also want to send out my prayers and thoughts to WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler, and I forgot to mention this last week. I want to send out condolences to the brother of the Macho Man WWE Hall of Famer Macho Man Randy Savage, Lanny Poffo. Um, I want to send out my condolences to them. So I'm gonna get you in, I'm gonna get you out, and I'm gonna go to bed because I'm exhausted. So um, this episode of Mel's Mat Chat is dedicated to the people over at Harry's.com. If you have if you need a good razor or you're looking for good toiletries, go check out the people over at Harry's.com. Also, please go check out the people over at Maestro Classics at maestroclassics.com and get all your beard essentials. Please do me a favor if you want to murder your thirst, go check out the people over at Liquid Death at liquiddeath.com and get all your favorite flavors of sparkling water, which are mango, lime, and mango, orange, lime, and mixed berry. And don't forget about the spring water and the sparkling water. If you are into coffee, like I am, go check out the people over at Death Wish Coffee at deathwishcoffee.com and go and get those flavors. They're going to be running out very, very, very soon. So go check it out on the website. Please, if you haven't, go and check it out on Fight TV. The beginnings, and it was a tribute show to Jay Briscoe. They're going to be back, I believe, March 10th, and that will be that on HOG Wrestling House of Glory. So get all your information at their website on hogwrestling.net. So let's get this started, and I could get you out of here, and I could get to bed. Since I'm not actually watching Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, I moved AEW first, and then we're gonna do WWE second. I did not watch Vengeance Day, so sorry. So if you want to, so I'm having WWE content towards the end, and I want to thank Ringside News for the notes and whatnot. AEW Rampage. We started off with the World Trios Championship match, the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus All Ego Ethan Page, Isaiah Cassidy, and Matt Hardy. Isaiah Cassidy worked over Nick's arm, but Nick escaped and hit a twisting arm drag off the rope. Nick tagged in Matt Jackson, and the Bucks used their tandem offense on Cassidy. Kenny Omega and Matt Jackson tagged in for their respective teams. They locked up and Hardy hit a shoulder block. Omega avoided a side effect from Hardy. Matt Hardy was looking to jump off the top rope onto Ethan Page, but then Page stole the glory, knocking down Omega. The Bucks brought down Ethan Page and then hit Hardy with a stereo drop kicks. Hardy was about to go for the twist of fate. Matt countered with a suplex. Page grabbed Matt's leg and Matt planted Matt Jackson with a side effect. Ethan Page tagged in and spiked Matt Jackson with a backbreaker. Matt Jackson super kicked Ethan Page as Page jumped off the turnbuckles. Kenny Omega tagged in and connected with a cross body splash onto Ethan Page. He followed it up with a Polish hammer and then a moonsault press to Page for a near fall. Kenny Omega can do it all, said Shivani. A fabulous talent, no doubt about it, concurred Jim Ross. Kenny Omega blocked a twist of fate from Hardy. Both men collided into one another with lariats, both having the same idea. Cassidy rocked Nick with a flatliner off the ropes. Ethan Page nailed Matt Jackson with a power slam, but Kenny Omega was there to deliver a running knee to Page. The fans chanted, "This is awesome, this is awesome." Nick Jackson superkicked Cassidy, but Cassidy fired back with a kick of his own. Nick Jackson smashed Cassidy's skull into the mat with a bulldog. Cassidy rallied back with a Canadian destroyer on Nick Jackson. Hardy hit Twist of Fate on Nick. Hardy went after Matt Jackson, but Matt ducked and Hardy collided with Ethan Page. Omega cracked Cassidy with a V-trigger from behind. Omega planted Cassidy with the one-wing angel. The Elite hit the BT trigger, and Nick Jackson pinned Isaiah Cassidy. I believe that Private Party should not even be in AEW. They should be traveling. Lexi and Nair were backstage with Absolute Ricky Starks. Starks was ready for a Guevara Garcia gauntlet match because he's no stranger to having the deck stacked against him. Starks vowed to beat Jericho again. Brian Pillman Jr. versus Swerve Strickland. Swerve grappled Pillman to the mat. Pillman scored with a dropkick and then a flying dropkick through the ropes to Swerve. Pillman blasted Swerve with a thrust kick, getting full extension on it. Swerve got out of the grips of Pillman and kicked at the inside of Pillman's knee. Swerve punished Pillman with a kick to the head. Trench got on the apron and distracted the ref while Parker swept out the legs of Pillman. Swerve decimated Pillman with a Death Valley driver on the apron. Swerve followed up with the flying foot stomp to Pillman and then scored the pin. The Mogul affiliates attacked Pillman after the match until the Natural Dustin Rhodes ran down to even up the odds. Swerve and the Mogul affiliates retreated. Saraya, Toni Storm versus the Renegade Sisters, Robin and Charlotte. Toni Storm and Robin Renegade began for their respective sides. Storm used a Luthez press. Oh, gee, I wonder where she learned that from. And grounded and pounded. Saraya snuck in knees when the ref had his back turned. Toni sent Robin flying to the arena floor after a running hip attack. Saraya flattened Robin with multiple clotheslines. Saraya came flying with a knee strike underneath Robin's jaw, good for a 2 count. Toni tagged in and suplexed Robin. Robin rallied back with forearm strikes to Toni Storm. Charlotte made a tag and cleaned house on Toni and Saraya. Toni wasted no time to regain momentum through with a hip attack and then the Storm Zero to pin Charlotte. After the match, Toni and Saraya spray painted the Renegade Sisters with an L for losers. Can't they make up anything else or do something different, for Christ's sake? Jesus Christ. Main event time. The Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels versus El Toro Blanco, Rush. Christopher Daniels is one of the most respected veterans in this sport, said Excalibur. They chain wrestled at the start of the match. It was a stalemate. Rush began to crank on Daniels' arm, but Daniels countered it with an arm drag on Rush. Daniels followed up with a neck breaker. The fallen angel Christopher Daniels took flight with a beautiful tope to Roosh. Jose held Christopher Daniels while Preston tried to pump kick, but Daniels moved. Preston inadvertently kicked Jose, the assistant. Daniels delivered repeated clotheslines and then a powerbomb to Roosh. Christopher Daniels ate a thrust kick from Roosh. Daniels rocked Roosh with a Death Valley driver. Roosh rolled up Daniels for a near fall after Daniels was distracted by Preston Vance. Daniels attempted the best moonsault ever. Roosh raised his knees onto Daniels' ribcage. Roosh smashed Daniels with a bullhorns and then pinned Christopher Daniels. Sweetheart, Charlotte, Flair, one of your husband's best friends. Take note of it, okay? Dynamite. Tonight's episode of Dynamite hails from El Paso County Coliseum in El Paso, Texas. It's championship fight night. We started off with the AEW World Championship Eliminator match. MJF versus Konosuke Takeshita. I'm still fucking having problems with his name. I hate to give the devil his due, but the man MJF can go in the ring, said Excalibur. MJF is the hooded ornament of this company, the world champion of this company, whether you like it or not, it has. Takeshita clobbered MJF with nearly 10 punches in the corner and then followed it up with a jumping knee. MJF pulled the ref away and then blindsided Takeshita. MJF countered a clothesline by yanking Takeshita's arm and then driving his shoulders into the mat. MJF followed up with a DDT and chomped down on Takeshita's fingers. Takeshita fired back with an explosive suplex on MJF, sending MJF flying into the turnbuckles. Takeshita rocked MJF with 2 running boots. Takeshita nailed MJF with a brainbuster for a near fall. Takeshita hit a flying frog splash on MJF for a 2 count. Takeshita reversed a pile driver from MJF and planted MJF with a deadlift German suplex. MJF rolled out to the outside and taking a breather. Takeshita whipped MJF headfirst into the steel ring post. Takeshita climbed to the top rope looking for a moonsault, but MJF lunged the ropes to disrupt Takeshita's balance. Takeshita landed a lariat. MJF on the top rope, but MJF landed on his feet. Takeshita wasted no time and reared back and then landed a lariat on MJF. MJF baited Takeshita and applied the salt to the earth armbar. Takeshita rolled up MJF for a near fall. Takeshita launched himself over the top rope and crashed down onto MJF on the arena floor. The fans chanted, "This is awesome, this is awesome, this is awesome." Takeshita blasted MJF with elbow strikes. MJF powerbombed Takeshita across his knee. MJF crumbled to the mat, clutching his knee. Takeshita grabbed MJF and spiked him with the Blue Thunder Bomb and then covered him after a running knee. MJF stopped the pin by touching the bottom rope with his boot. Takeshita attempted a senton on Timoko off the ropes, but MJF dodged it. MJF cranked an armbar on Takeshita, and Takeshita had no choice but to tap out, especially after the early arm or injury to his arm. There is no way Takeshita could sustain that, said Taz. MJF shoved the ref and then clocked Takeshita with the dynamite ring after the match. Bryan Danielson ran to the ring to come to the aid of Takesha. MJF retreated to the back. This was very fast. I don't know who's doing booking in AEW's women's division, but this is way too quick. AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator match. Jamie Hayter versus the Bunny. Hayter showed her power with the running shoulder block to the Bunny, taking the Bunny off her feet. The Bunny caught Hayter off guard with an elbow. Hayter suplexed the Bunny back into the ring. The Bunny turned the tables with a spike to Hayter on the floor. Hayter calf hit the steel ring steps on the way down. Hayter smashed the Bunny with a ripcord lariat and pinned her after the Haterade. Renee Paquette was backstage with Toni Storm and Saraya. Saraya called Leva Bates near them. Toni hit Leva from behind and painted an L on Leva. Lexi Nares tried to get a word with the AEW World Champion MJF. Takesha, everyone was talking about you like you were the next big thing. But you were no challenge for the generational talent like me. No one is. A man does not know what he is made of until he meets adversity. In this life, there are winners and there are losers. Tonight, I expose you, Dragon. You don't have the balls to do what it takes. There will be no Iron Man match on the 5th at Revolution. I'm a scumbag, Brian, and I'm damn proud of it. He mentioned something about Liv Morgan doing some sort of oral act, and because MJF and Liv Morgan was seen this past summer taking pictures, and something about him and his Camaro. Camaros are for fucking teenagers, all right? I like better cars. Camaros, they are so bad. Oh my God. My aunt had a Camaro. It was a fucking poor man's Corvette, basically. If you want a fucking good car, you get a Mustang, a Challenger, or a Charger. That's it. Absolute Ricky Starks versus the Jericho Appreciation Society, the Garcia Guevara Gauntlet. Angelo Parker and Matt Menard came to the ring first. Angelo Parker gouged Stark in the eyes. Stark pinned Parker after his spear. The next opponent was Matt Menard. Stark stuck a punch from Menard, rolled him up, and pinned him. Garcia was out next. Sammy distracted Starks with Garcia attacked Starks from behind. Starks tried for a spear, but Daniel Garcia countered with a body lock from a guillotine. Ricky Starks fired back with a Northern Lights bomb. There was a lot of writing on this match for Ricky Starks, said Excalibur. The pressure is on Garcia too because you know what Jericho wants to see happen, replied Taz. Starks and Garcia traded strikes on the apron until Starks speared Garcia. A fan in the mask in the front row blasted Starks with the Judas effect. Garcia grabbed an unconscious Starks and pinned him. The fan unmasked was Chris Jericho. And there will be a 5 Alive Chris Jericho cruise next year, just to let you know. Renee Paquette interviewed Daddy Ass and the AEW Tag Team Champions, The Acclaim, backstage. Billy said he decided that for their match tonight, he was going to stay in the back and stay out of the match. It was a team decision. Renee Paquette interviewed Bryan Danielson and Takesha in the trainer's room. Someone locked them in the room. So we're going to go to the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson versus El Toro Blanco Rouge. It sounds like Jose, the assistant, was on the other side of that locked door, said Taz. MJF limped down to the ring with a microphone. MJF, Bryan Danielson, isn't here for this match. Aubrey Edwards, you need to ring the bell and start this match right now. Give me a 10 count, baby. Danielson broke the door down, dashing to the ring after knocking down Jose, the assistant, and El Pedro Pagosio, Preston Vance. Danielson made it to the ring in time, but also into a waiting boots of Roosh. MJF joined the commentary team for the match. Danielson head Danielson head was driven into the steel chair. Danielson was busted wide open. Roosh rocked Danielson with an elbow and then a boot as blood streamed down Bryan's face. Max, I think your plan worked out perfectly, said Taz. I'm having the time of my life, replied MJF. Danielson rallied back and chops as they stood on the apron. Danielson charged at Roosh, but Roosh countered with a suplex, sending a bloody Danielson crashing hard onto the cold arena floor. Back in the ring, Danielson applied the label lock, but Roosh managed to make it to the ropes. Roosh went outside to the ring, but Danielson connected with a tope. Danielson charged at Roosh with a running drop kick. The fans chanted, "This is awesome, this is awesome, this is awesome." Roosh suplexed Danielson, but Danielson rode through. Danielson fired back with a charging knee and then pinned Roosh. Welcome to Revolution, said Tony Schiavone. Sunday, March 5th, the main event is set. It will be MJF and Bryan Danielson, the AEW World Champion, on the line in a 60-minute Iron Man match, added Excalibur. MJF limped to the ring and decked Danielson with the Dynamite Diamond ring. MJF put Danielson in the Soul to the Earth armbar. Ow, my back. Oh, I want to mention this. With this whole thing with MJF. I want to apologize for all the people that fucking called the dispatcher for the Nassau County Police Department. You are all fucking morons. Holy shit. And those people should not be watching wrestling. Just saying. AEW World Trios match. The Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus AR Fox, Top Flight, Dante Martin, and Darius Martin. Dante and Nick started for their respective teams. Top Flight used tandem offense on Nick and then Matt. AR Fox took down the cleaner with a dropkick. The Young Bucks used combination offense on Top Flight. Kenny came in and dunked AR Fox head into the mat. Kenny landed heavy strikes on Darius Martin. Omega clobbered Darius with a backbreaker. Darius avoided a super kick from Matt and then came back with a Spanish fly. AR Fox rolled through with a senton splash on Nick Jackson. AR Fox dished out 3 cutters to the Elite, jumped over the top rope and connected with the Bucks. Then Omega and then hit the Bucks again. Fox followed up with a senton on Timonico on Omega for a near fall. Matt Jackson caught Dante and drilled him with 2 Northern Light suplexes. Matt almost pinned all 3 men after a double Northern Lights suplex. Nick Jackson was spiked by a DDT from Darius. Top Flight hit a nosedive on Nick Jackson. AR Fox splashed Nick with a 450. Fox almost pinned Nick, but Kenny made the save. These 6 guys are pulling out all the stops, said Tony Schiavone. Dante smashed Omega with a flying lariat. Matt superkicked Darius, and then Dante kicked Jackson, neutralized Top Flight with a springboard moonsault to the arena floor. Kenny rocked AR Fox with a gut wrench Dr. Bomb. AR Fox countered Kenny One Wing Angel. Omega rolled up AR Fox with a crucifix pin. A razor thin win for the Elite, said Excalibur. Lexi Nair interviewed the firm. Stokely Hathaway backstage. Hathaway said he had a problem with the FTW champion Hook. Hook approached Hathaway and warned Hathaway to be careful with his words. Main event time. AEW World Tag Team Championship. Acclaim versus the Guns. Billy Gunn is doing the hard thing and letting the two teams settle it for themselves, said Excalibur. Billy is in a tough spot. I respect that, replied Taz. Excuse me. The Acclaim utilized quick tags to maintain control over the Guns. Bowens cleared the house on the Guns, taking the fight to both brothers. Bowens really competing with a lot of intensity here tonight. And Excalibur, said Excalibur. Bowens was looking for the rolling elbow strike, but Colton shoved the ref into the way. Austin landed the quick strike on Bowens. Austin picked up the tag titles and perched to use it on Bowens. Billy Gunn ran to the ring and stopped Austin from using it. Colton smashed Billy in the head with the belt. The Acclaim used the arrival and then the mic drop on Austin. Caster went outside to the referee and helped him back in the ring. Colton pulled Bowens off the pinfall attempt. The referee was still dazed. Colton cracked Bowens with the belt and Austin pinned him. New AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Guns. What a disgrace, said Excalibur. What a shocker, said Tony Schiavone. Billy, however, hovered over Bowens, checking him after the match. We have new AEW Tag Team Champions, whether you like it or not, said Excalibur. Next week, they're going to be hailing from the Sam's Auto Arena in Laredo, Texas. So that is that. You want to just check something? Okie dokie. I want to thank Ringside News. For giving me my the notes for this, and I may have to do this over my phone because something's wrong with they didn't publish it at all. I'm gonna have to look up the let me just make sure that Raw was put in. That was weird. SmackDown results.
Here are some results.
Sorry, people. All right, this review is coming from ewrestlingnews.com. Shayna Baszler, Shotzi, Zelina Vega, and Natalia will do battle for a spot for the Women's Elimination Chamber match. The winner will join Asuka, Liv Morgan, Nikki Cross, and Raquel Gonzalez in the Chamber match to determine who will challenge for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair defends against Sonya Deville. The finals of the number one contenders tag team tournament with Giovanna Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser versus Braun Strowman and Ricochet. WWE has also announced that the undisputed WWE Champion Roman Reigns will be on the show tonight for the follow-up to Sami Zayn turning at the Royal Rumble. Also, Reigns make any references to Cody Rhodes. We shall see. We start off the with a recap of Sami Zayn chair shot to the back of Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. Reigns had instructed Sami to strike Kevin Owens with the chair following a vicious beatdown by the tribal chief. The bloodline pulls up in the arena where Braxton is waiting to ask if Jey Uso is present with them this evening. Paul Heyman steps in the front of the microphone and says that they can either confirm or deny the presence of Jey Uso in the bloodline currently. We started off the first match. Braun Strowman and Ricochet defeat Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. Braun Strowman, and this is for the finals for the tag team tournament. Braun Strowman and Giovanni Vinci started things off. Strowman quickly proves his strength dominance, and Vinci tags in. Ludwig Kaiser, the members of the Imperium, seem to hesitate to engage with Braun Strowman. He tags in Ricochet, and he and Kaiser go at it. They have a brief exchange before Giovanni Vinci distracts Ricochet, and Ludwig Kaiser takes advantage. Braun Strowman becomes involved and spills the action out the outside of the ring. We go to commercial break. Returning from commercial, Braun Strowman is caught in the ring corner by Imperium. They double team and cover. Strowman kicks out. Giovanni Vinci keeps Strowman grounded with a front face lock. He struggles to make the tag. He makes it to Ricochet and comes in, clearing the ring. He hits a flying clothesline and follow up with a standing shooting star press. He covers Vinci, but he kicks out at 2. Vinci takes control and makes a big tag to Ludwig Kaiser, then throwing up Ricochet's shoulders first into the ring corner. Ricochet fights back and sending both members of the Imperium to the outside. He takes to the ropes, sails them over. He takes them both men out. Gunta tries to get involved but backed up by the entranceway by Braun Strowman. We go to a commercial break. Back from commercial, Ricochet and Ludwig Kaiser are exchanging forearm strikes. Ricochet backs Kaiser into the corner and continues to lay punches into him. Kaiser hits back and makes the tag to Giovanni Vinci. They take both Ricochet and then double drop kick Strowman off the ring apron. Vinci hits a brainbuster and covers, but is broken up by Braun. Both men crawl to the corner and make the tags to Kaiser and Strowman. Strowman charges in and clears the ring of them. He lands a massive clothesline on Kaiser and sets him up in a powerbomb. Strowman tags in Ricochet, who climbs on to his shoulders and leaps for a splash on to Kaiser. He covers for the pin. Braun and Ricochet win. They are now the number one contenders for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Kayla Braxton is backstage with Charlotte Flair following the recap of Rhea Ripley's Royal Rumble win. She said that her focus is on Sonya Deville for the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion later tonight. Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio exchanged words on a test track for the upcoming Clash at the Coliseum NASCAR race. They settle into a car race. One another, Rey wins, but things get heated after the race. WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair versus Sonya Deville. The two women tie up with Charlotte Flair knocking Sonya Deville down with a hard shoulder block. They exchange wrist locks. Hits a crossbody. She covers, but it's only good for a 2 count. Sonya Deville is on the ring apron and pulls Flair's hair, sending her down to the mat. We go to the commercial break. Coming back from commercial, Sonya Deville has Charlotte Flair on the mat. Flair moves back and rolls Sonya up. She kicks out. Deville locks in a headlock, but Charlotte gets back to her feet. Charlotte unloads on Sonya with chops across the chest, followed by a back body drop on Sonya's knee in the corner. Flair misses a big boot and has her knee racked over the ropes. She covers, but Charlotte kicks out at 2. Deville taunts her, and she will use the figure 8, but Charlotte rolls out of it. She brings Sonya down and then drops her onto the corner of the ring. Charlotte goes for a moonsault and misses. Please stop using the moonsault. Sonya goes for a sunset flip, but Charlotte rolls through and locks in figure 8. Sonya Deville submits and Charlotte Flair wins. She retains the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. Backstage, Roman Reigns asks Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa where Jey Uso is. Jimmy says that they do not know. Roman says he finds it disrespectful that they haven't heard from him all week. Jimmy says it will be okay, that Jey will be there for him next week in their title defense. Roman says that they need to find him. Viking Raiders versus the Brawling Brutes. Butch and Ivar begin the match. Ivar backs Butch into the corner and unloads punches into the midsection. He tags in Eric, who charges Butch in the corner. Butch blocks and locks in figure locks Ridge. Holland tagged in. He lands a high vertical suplex on Eric, and Butch tags in. Butch strikes Eric with forearms across the chest and then takes to stomping him. He rolls from the ring. The action spills on the outside as we go to commercial. We come back from commercial. Butch is fighting out of the hole from Eric. He tags in Holland and he slams Eric around in the ring with a few belly-to-belly throws. Eric hits a quick kick and tags in. Ivar sets up a pile driver, but Holland reverses it into an Alabama slam. He covers, but Ivar kicks out at 2. Butch tags back in and kicks Ivar in the face who falls back into the corner and tagged by Eric. Eric comes in and catches a drop kick from Butch. Ivar comes back in and suffers a head scissors from the top rope. It's only it's only good for a 2 count. Butch locks in a sleeper on Ivar, but powers to his feet. Ivar and Eric deliver a double power bomb to Butch, and Ivar covers for the pin. Viking Raiders win. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre come out and attack the Viking Raiders after the match. Natalia versus Shayna Baszler versus Zelina Vega versus Shotzi Blackheart. Natalia goes straight for Shayna Baszler as Shotzi knocks Zelina from the ring. Natalia and Shotzi exchange, but Natalia sends her to the outside as well. Zelina Vega takes advantage and throws Shotzi into the crowd barrier. Vega and Natalia go at it, but it's broken up by Shayna Baszler. She throws Zelina out and turns her focus to Shotzi, locking in an armbar. Baszler fends off all three opponents and hits a knee strike to the face of Natalia. We go to commercial break. We come back from commercial. Shayna and Shotzi are in the ring. Shotzi delivers a series of kicks Baszler that sends her to the outside. Shotzi dives through the rope onto her. Vega climbs to the top rope and takes them both down again with a moonsault. Natalia attempts a sharpshooter on Shotzi, but is kicked by Shayna Baszler. Baszler locked in a sleeper, but Natalia, but she throws her out of the ring. Zelina attempts to take advantage, but Natalia knocks her down and puts her in the sharpshooter. Vega taps out and Natalia wins. She will take a spot in the Elimination Chamber. Roman Reigns is backstage with Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. He apologizes to Jimmy for how he spoke to him earlier. He tells them to go to the bus while he goes to handle business in the ring. He said he will catch up with them later. Roman Reigns comes out to the ring with only Paul Heyman to accompany him. As Roman takes the microphone, the crowd chanting for Sami Zayn. He demands the acknowledgement from Greenville audience. Who do, but they chant more for Sami. Roman Reigns says that he thought he would be coming out to talk about Cody Rhodes. He said that is something that deserves his attention. He said if they want to hear about Sami Zayn, he will tell his side of the story. Roman says it's all started back at Survivor Series. He saw greed in Sami's eyes that night. Roman says Sami used him. Then from behind, Sami is right there, attacking Roman Reigns. Roman fights back with knee strikes to Sami's face. Paul Heyman hands him a chair, but Sami comes out of nowhere with a spear and lays Roman out. He picks up the chair and he tries to hit him with Roman rolling out of the ring as he retreats. Sami grabs the microphone. He says he never wanted anything from him until now. He said he's coming from Roman's championship. Solo and Jimmy come from behind, beat Sami down. Solo nails him with a Samoan spike, and Jimmy Uso sets a chair around Sami's neck to pillmanize him. Solo goes for a charge, but Roman stops him. He stands over Sami as the crowd chanted for Jey Uso. Roman says he wants Sami in Montreal at the Elimination Chamber. And that is it. I want to thank, for the last time, eWrestlingNews.com for the report to give to you on that end. Now let's move into Monday Night Raw. Now, this is from ringsidenews.com. WWE started off by match highlights and results from the show that will take place on tonight's show. With the Elimination Chamber right around the corner, tonight promises to be a big night. Becky Lynch will face Bayley in a steel cage match. There are also a couple of qualifying matches to decide who will fill the final spots for their respective Elimination Chamber matches. The update match card is follow. Qualifying matches for the United States Championship Elimination Chamber match. Angelo Dawkins versus Damian Priest. Another one, Montez Ford versus Elias. Brock Lesnar segment. Fatal four-way match for the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Mia Yim versus Candice LeRae versus Carmella versus Piper Niven. Steel cage match, Becky Lynch versus Bayley. We open with the package for the show to air. The commentators welcome the audience to the show. Edge and Beth Phoenix come out. Edge starts by saying it's so good to be back. He said there's one reason they're here. It's the Judgment Day. He says the Judgment Day, it was his fault. He said the idea was to elevate talent and work, and it worked. Edge says that Finn Balor is operating on another level. Priest is a workhorse, and Rhea Ripley outlasted everyone at the Royal Rumble. He said they even battled back and forth for the past year, and he knows Balor didn't have what it took to beat him bad enough to make him say, I quit. He said he had no choice when Rhea hit Beth with the steel chair. He says they just made a bad problem worse because he will sink to any level to get his pound of flesh. Beth Phoenix says they are here to finish this. Judgment Day's music hits and the group comes out. Balor says Edge makes his triumphant return only to be beaten down once again. Dominic says he has served hard times since Edge and Beth have been gone and asks them to run along before he does something to them. Damien says every time he comes back for more, he says the next time he beats them, they won't come back. He says that he hates Edge and he will become the United States champion again. Dominic says he wishes Mommy was here, but she is busy traveling the world to promote WrestleMania. She's actually in Australia visiting family. Edge asks Dominic to shut up. He says they don't want to wait. They don't want to wait. He then makes fun of Judgment Day. He says he cannot wait till Ray 619 Dom's teeth down his throat. Beth says Rhea is not here because last week she speared her. She then says she came to beat Rhea's ass. Beth then challenged Balor and Ripley to a match at the Elimination Chamber. Finn accepts their challenge if they make it to Elimination Chamber. They circle the ring. They get in the ring. The Street Profits come out. Edge, who spears Balor. Ford sends Dominic back Dominic back in the ring, and Beth hits a gland slam on him, which was terrible, in my opinion. So then we start off with the first match for the United States Championship match, Elimination Chamber match. Dawkins plants Priest in the ring. He launches Priest over the announcer table. He sends him into the ring. Damien with a right hand to Dawkins. Priest with a diving elbow followed by a broken arrow. Cover 1-2 kick out. He goes to work on Dawkins. Dawkins with an enziguri. He sends Priest outside, but is taken out by Priest. He then hits the suplex. Priest with a kick to Dawkins. We go to commercial break. Dawkins with a couple of clotheslines. He hits the splash in the corner. He hits the exploder suplex. Cover 1-2 kick out. He climbs the top rope but stopped. Priest hit with a super kick followed by the flatliner. Priest goes for the choke slam, but reversed into the silencer. Cover 1-2 kick out. Dawkins climbs to the top rope and hits a swanton bomb. Cover 1-2 kick out. Priest hits the south of heaven for the win. Damian Priest moves on and he goes to the Elimination Chamber. Austin Theory arrives in a Lamborghini. Come back from commercial break. Max and Male models are backstage and have their contracts signed. Chelsea Green comes in and says she expects a private dressing room, Swiss chocolates, among other things, but she receives Belgian chocolates. She says she isn't in the Elimination Chamber match and asks for an opportunity. She says she deserves a match and deserves to be treated like a star. Baron Corbin versus Dexter Lumis, another United States. I think this is another United States title match. If not, I'm sorry. Both competitors come to the ring. Dexter Lumis' music plays as he enters the ring. Corbin ambushes him. He goes to work on Lumis. Lumis fights back, but he is knocked down by Corbin. Corbin with a vicious clothesline. Lumis fights back with a clothesline. He hits a leg drop and then pulls away Corbin for the win. Dexter Lumis picks up the victory. Byron Saxton interviews Becky Lynch, who says Orlando is where she began 10 years ago. She says the first time she's the first fuck this. They don't know how to fucking type. She said the first time I met Bayley in NXT Performance Center, she says she attached herself she attached herself to anyone possible. She says she wanted to be great by kicking down doors. Bayley didn't like it, so she attacked. She then warns Bayley not to talk about her family. She says Bayley can bring her friends and tricks, but there's one hand she has not played yet, but tonight could be the night. Come back from commercial. We have Brock Lesnar. Now, normally, what the fuck is he doing there? Honestly, But it is Orlando. It is a big thing, and he probably wanted to thaw out for being in Canada. So Brock gets on the mic and says Royal Rumble sucked because he had a sucky experience because he got thrown over the top rope by Bobby Lashley. He apologizes for not being on Raw. Lesnar says Bobby finally struck a chord with him. He says all he could do was think about Bobby Lashley. He says he could think about Bobby Lashley even eating a steak dinner. He said he thought long and hard for what he was going to do about Lashley. He came up with a violent resolution. He said he has a multi-million-dollar contract for a match between Bobby Lashley and Lesnar at the Elimination Chamber. Now, during this, he says, I can't even crawl into bed about 4 or 5 hours later after I've been with my wife and everybody had to acknowledge the 5,000-pound elephant in the room because he's married to Sable. So then he asks Lashley to sign the contract. Bobby Lashley's theme song plays and he comes out to the ring. Lashley says it's nice that Brock graced them with their presence. He says that he's gotten the better of Lesnar every time they meet. He says this match will take place on his terms. He says he will take the contract and have his agent, manager, and lawyer to look at it and get back to him. He asks if Brock's surprised if he has one up on Brock. As he walks away, Lesnar catches him and hits an F5. The crowd chants one more time, so he obliges. Candice LeRae is backstage and Gargano asks how she's feeling. She says luck hasn't been on her side. Dexter draws her a picture for good luck. I want to send out my condolences to the Garganos. Candice LeRae lost her grandfather this week, so my prayers and thoughts to her. Women's Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Candice LeRae versus Carmella versus Mia Yim versus Piper Niven. Carmella's, they all go to the freaking, they're all out in the ring. Piper Niven attacks Candice and Michin, I'm going to say Yim, in the corner. Carmella jumps her from behind but it's dropped. Mia Yim and Candice team up to take Piper down. They drop kick her, sending her out of the ring. Mia Yim with a buckle bomb. Candice LeRae hits a poison rana. Piper Niven with a crossbody on all of her opponents. She covers Carmella, 1-2 kick out. She sends Carmella out of the ring. Carmella breaks. Commercial break, sorry. Piper Niven attacks Candice in the corner and then hits clothesline on Carmella. Mia Yim with a neck breaker on Niven, sending her out of the ring. Carmella and Michin exchange strikes. Michin hits Eat Defeat. Cover, 1-2. Piper makes the save. Piper with a headbutt on Yim. Candice hits the dropkick and moonsault on Piper. Cover, 1-2. Michin. Yim stops the count. Yim is slammed by Piper. Cover, 1-2 kick. 1-2. Candice stops the count. Candice hits the senton on Piper. She is sent into the turnbuckle and stopped by Carmella. She then hits the Bronco Buster and Niven hits the Cannonball. Carmella super kicks Niven and rolls up Candice for the win. Carmella is going to the Elimination Chamber match. Baron Corbin is backstage with JBL, who says there ain't no we. He said he sold out WrestleMania, but Corbin is chump change television. No, channel changing television. He says his legacy has lost all credibility. He says Corbin is a clown and he doesn't belong near JBL. Corbin says he could do better. JBL says you can't polish a turd. Alpha Academy versus Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. And just to note that MVP was with them. Alpha. So they're out in the ring. So Candice LeRae is backstage. She's attacked by Piper Niven. Yim stops her. Piper wants her not to get in her way again. So we have the match. The match begins with Cedric and Chad Gable who takes him down. Gable with a German suplex. He tags in Otis, who knocks him down. Shelton tags in and he goes for a clothesline and a kick. But Otis catches him and slams him. He then hits the splash. Otis plants Shelton. They both tag out. Cedric attacks Gable and hits the dropkick. He hits the neutralizer, sending him out of the ring. Cedric goes for a suicide dive but is caught. And Gable hits an exploder before hitting the diving headbutt. Cover 1-2, Shelton makes the save. Shelton attacks Otis in the corner and hits a Samoan drop. Gable goes for a moonsault but misses as Cedric puts him away for the win. Winner Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. The Miz is interviewed backstage and he says he will be giving a bill to Adam Pearce for damages done to his suit. Rick Boogs interferes. Miz asks how he got an appointment. Boogs says he is happy to be back. Miz says he would have won, but he was dressed and ready to compete before insulting Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce appears behind him and says he will get his rematch next week. Oh, I got the hiccups. Ooh. Chelsea Green says Adam Better find her an opponent or she will inform his manager. Oh my god, I am so embarrassed. I got the fucking hiccups. So Chelsea Green goes out to the ring and she's wondering who her opponent is. It's Asuka. Chelsea Green attacks Asuka from behind with a dropkick. All the elimination chamber participants are at ringside. Green plants Asuka. Carmella is talking trash to everyone at ringside. Asuka recovers and attacks Green with a rapid offense. She hits the German suplex and a kick to the head. Asuka locks in her armbar submission as Chelsea Green taps out. Winner Asuka. Bianca Belair comes out. She walks and she says she wants everyone to take a look at each other because what she sees is six top tier women in the division. WWE, but who has to what it takes to win the Elimination Chamber and go one on one with her. She says she knows what it takes to win at the Elimination Chamber. She wishes them good luck because whoever makes it out will see her at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes is on his way to the ring. So he goes and he's out to the ring. He starts saying that last week he spoke about his opponent, Roman Reigns. He said his path is straight, but the destination is clouded because Reigns is defending his title against Sami Zayn at the Elimination Chamber. He says it looks like it's going to be him versus Sami at WrestleMania. He wishes Sami the best of luck. Paul Heyman comes out and introduces himself. He gets into the ring and says Cody may one day find out in his life is that life at the very top of the industry. The week that is leading up to WrestleMania is the busiest week of the year. He congratulates. I'm having fucking trouble because I'm exhausted. He congratulates Cody on winning the Royal Rumble. Cody says his father and brother had nicknamed for Heyman, but he will call him Mr. Heyman because he respects him. He said he wants to tell the story that he should have been told a long time ago. He said his family used to be broke. He said his dad did a local car commercial so he could just keep the car. He then says Heyman called him and informed him ECW was in town, and if he could appear on ECW, he would be paid very well. Heyman kept his word. He said ECW gave his father his confidence back, and he could never repay him for that. He says Heyman showed him the way. Heyman gets teary-eyed. Paul Heyman says Cody is good, but he got him personally. Heyman says it's about him and it's about his dad, but Cody and about everything he fought for to get to this point. He said just getting to WrestleMania is a long road. He said he's not just headlining WrestleMania, but he's trying to take away from Roman Reigns, and it's not an easy task. He says at the WWE Performance Center is right down the road, and that very Performance Center, Dusty Rhodes trained and prepared Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, Bayley, Kevin Owens, and Roman Reigns. He says his father didn't train nor prep Cody. Heyman says he could counsel that. Little seed, just if that's the case. His father wanted him to make it on his own, and he wanted him to break through his shadow. Heyman says he loved Dusty and says his father loved Cody. Heyman says that his last conversation with Dusty, he told Heyman that Cody was his favorite son, but Roman Reigns was the son he always wanted. Cody approached him but stopped. Cody shakes his hand and says he is trying to win a wrestling championship and everyone wants to make it personal, and Roman Reigns will pay for it when he takes those titles personally. United States Championship Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Montez Ford versus Elias. The match begins with Elias knocks down Ford. Ford returns the favor with a shoulder block. Ford hung up on the rope. Elias attacks Ford in the corner. He hits back body drop. Ford rolls out of the ring and Elias hits the back suplex on his steel steps. We come back from commercial break. Elias with a backbreaker. He climbs to the top rope, stopped, and Elias goes for a sunset flip powerbomb, but he blocks it. Hits the powerbomb on Ford. Cover 1-2 kick out. Ford with a kick to the head. He hits crossbody and a couple of clotheslines. Ford then hits a back suplex and a moonsault. Elias with jumping knee. He drops Ford. Cover 1-2 kick out. Elias attacks Ford in the corner. Ford knocks Elias down to the outside and drives onto him. He then climbs the rope and hits a frog splash for the win. Winner Montez Ford. I don't know why he's in this. He shouldn't be at all. Austin Theory is knocked down by Seth Rollins and hits the stomp. Bayley is shown getting ready for her match. The cage match is being lowered. The cage is being lowered. Come back from commercial break. The match begins with Bayley tries to climb the top of the cage but is stopped by Lynch. Bayley tripped by Lynch. Becky is sent into the steel cage. Bayley tries to climb the rope but is tripped up by Lynch before being sent into the cage. Becky Lynch with a dropkick on Bayley. She sends Bayley into the cage again and begins to climb the cage but is stopped. Becky is thrown off the top rope and Bayley hits the elbow drop. Come back from commercial. Becky with a shoulder tackle. Lynch kicks Bayley in the chest. Bayley tries to climb but is stopped by Lynch. Lynch with a leg drop to Bayley. Bayley with a back suplex on Lynch. Slammed into the steel cage. Becky goes for a leg drop but counters into a knee bar and Lynch attempts to crawl out of the cage but she is dragged back in. Bayley from the top rope. Cover 1-2 kick out. Bayley climbs the cage but she is stopped by Lynch and both women exchange strikes on the top of the cage. Lynch locks in the disarmer on the top of the cage, knocking her off. Io climbs the cage and battles Lynch, knocking her down. Dakota hands her the crutch and she attacks Bayley. Lita theme song plays and she comes out and attacks Io Sky and Dakota Kai. She hits the twist of fate on Io. Bayley tries to escape through the door, but the door is slammed in her face, and Becky hits the manhandle slam for the win. Becky Lynch picks up the win, and that is the end of Monday Night Raw. Thank you, Ringside News, for the report. I really appreciate it. Another thing that happened in that Vince McMahon is being investigated for fraud. Couldn't happen to someone nicer guy, you know? I was thrilled when I heard about this. And this is why he's going to have to sell to the highest bidder, because guess what's going to happen? He is going to try to get out of anything, and he's also trying to stay out of jail, because this stuff is going to be jail worthy now. He's now doing fraud. I don't know. But yeah, Vince McMahon, we need to keep these lawsuits coming. The more lawsuits, the quicker that he sells, and the quicker that he'll be out of it, because he is not going to have these. And the people who buy the company are not going to have him running it because he's a liability. I would like to them to announce we have bought WWE and we are putting Stephanie McMahon Levesque and Paul Triple H Levesque in charge, and we're gonna have then Raw Peace. Could you imagine the fucking forbidding door on that on in the company? Oh my god, my arms are killing me today. But that is it. It's a really slow news week because we got the Super Bowl this Sunday. I'm supporting the Kansas City Chiefs because my uncle is a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and I am hoping that they win. Um, I want to thank everybody for going to be watching this today. Um, Next week, same time, same place, for 278. I want everybody to have a great weekend, have a great Super Bowl weekend. I want you to go check out my social media at Mel's Mat Chat on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Go check me out on Snap and Facebook. Also, please go check out harrys.com for shaving and toiletry essentials. Go check out Maestro Classics at maestroclassics.com for your beard essentials. If you want to murder your thirst, please go check out Liquid Death at liquiddeath.com. If you want to get righteous coffee, go check out Death Wish Coffee at deathwishcoffee.com. And March 10th is coming around for the next HOG event. I don't know the exact name of it, but it's going to be March 10th, and you can find it on Fight TV. And subscribe to Fight TV Plus. It's $4.99, and I got to watch it for $4.99. It'll pay for itself. And if you're able to get the tickets, go to hogwrestling.net. And I will be back next week. This was a short, sweet, I'm exhausted, let me get to bed type situation. You have a good afternoon, and I will see you here next week. I'm going to do a preview and prediction, so that's going to be probably going to do it. I'm going to record it on Friday, and then I'm going to upload it for Saturday afternoon around like 11. So yeah, I'm going to be doing preview and predictions because I can still get the notes from Ringside News even though I'm not watching it. So I want you to have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy the football. Go Kansas City. And I love you all. Have a great weekend. Enjoy and be safe. Seriously. Love you all.